I'm Thundarr, and welcome to Sports Storm. Today I will be continuing the NBA scouting report series, and we'll be scouting Croatian big man Dragan Bender. Now let's take a look at some of his measurables. He's standing at 7'1" and only 225 pounds. He's 18 years old. His some other notable measurements: his wingspan is 7 foot 2 inches, vertical 27.5 inches, and his standing reach at 9 foot 3. Now onto his statistics from this last season. In Israel, he played inconsistent minutes, so it's really hard to judge what his stats were. He's so high on the rankings because of his potential and what he's shown in other camps and different tournaments. So his stats per 40 minutes are only 8 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, and 2 turnovers. I mean, those aren't gaudy by any means. If you did that in college, you definitely would not even be considered, probably even for the first round. But he's extremely upside in what he's shown, not on his current team in Israel. Now let's move on to his strengths. His main strength is that he's a stretch 4. He can shoot the ball, he can shoot the 3 and the mid-range. Another major strength for Dragan Bender is that he can run the floor. So not saying he can ball handle, but he's not going to be one of those slow guys that's always the last one past or last one back to the court. And then his next biggest strength is rebounding. Now he's a rebounding freak when he actually has the chance to play. So I think he's gonna continue to rebound the ball very well at the next level. And finally, rim protection. I think this is really what propels him into the top 5 is his defense and potential on defense. I think he showed potential as a very good rim protector in Israel, and I think he can capitalize that in the NBA. Now we move on to the weaknesses of Dragan Bender. The main weakness is his size. He's only 225 pounds. If he really wants to be down, he's going to need to bulk up, be around 240 to 250 pounds if he really wants to succeed and dominate in the NBA. And also another weakness is his inconsistent playing time. He hasn't really had a major sample of starting and actually playing heavy minutes, so I don't expect him to really do that. And it's hard to predict what he's going to do because of such a small sample of what he's done. Alright, now my career stat projection for Dragan Bender. I see him getting around 15.5 points per game, 9 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 2 blocks, and 1 steal per game. Now, obviously, this could go either way, considering he's from overseas, and a lot of those big men from overseas are overhyped. But I think Dragan Bender is actually going to do fairly well in the NBA. The 15.5 points might be a little high. You could drop that down to a 12 or a 13. But overall, I think the rebounding and the blocks I think that's going to hold up. All right, now on to the good fits and the bad fits based on where he's projected to go in the draft. The good fits, I see the Los Angeles Lakers, who have a desperate need for a big man. The Boston Celtics, another team with a need for a big man, and so are the Suns, all picking 2, 3, and 4. And the bad teams that are in the range of picking Dragan Bender are the Philadelphia 76ers, who already have 3 centers, and Dario Saric, who is a power forward coming in from overseas. All right, now on to the NBA comparison for Dragan Bender. I'm going to separate this into ceiling and floor, considering he is really all potential. If he maxes out his potential, I can see him as a Pau Gasol. He can play the stretch 4. I think he's a better shooter than Pau Gasol, but this is more of a realistic comparison. And the defensive attributes that Pau Gasol has. So I think that if he does max out potential, he could develop into a Pau Gasol. And his floor, obviously, I think this is one of the more well-known comparisons. Andrea Bargnani, big man, he's going to be the next Dirk Nowitzki. And really, I just don't see Dragan Bender as that type of scorer. And I just think, obviously, he's going to be considered a bust if he doesn't pan out, because he's going to be taken with a high pick, and just like Andrea Bargnani was. All right, now to my overall prediction for Dragan Bender. I think he definitely has all-star potential, as he's showcased in different events. I think he's going to take a few years to develop just because he's had such inconsistent playing time and hasn't really endured heavy minutes before. And I think he's going to have a long NBA career, 15 to 20 years. I think he's going to I don't think he's going to be out of the league in a few years. I think he's going to end up continuing to play for teams. And I think he's going to end up having a few All-Star appearances if he's able to max out his potential. I don't think he's ever going to start as an All-Star, but I do think he might be able to sneak 1 or 2 in there. That is it for me today at Sports Storm. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.